Yeah, right. She immediately hides. It's so funny. Oh, so we'll open the door for that, which is good. And I should actually do this share for that, but Hawaii Fluid Art, but we'll talk about it at the end. Actually, while we're doing this, I'm going to put a couple things on Do Not Disturb. Oop. So we don't get any phone calls. That's good. I can close Teams up. Probably not a bad idea. Erin,
We're-
what part of I forgot to ask you, Erin, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in San Diego, California, so we're not going to talk about the weather. I always feel like I'm bragging when I get on these calls, especially in the spring where everybody else is not quite there yet. I am going to post my website in the host panelist chat, and that way, maybe Tony, once we get to that point of the presentation where we're talking about additional training resources and templates for agents, you can post it if you choose to in the regular chat for all the agents.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I see that. That's okay. Yeah, Tony can take that over and post that in there. So
Yeah,
we've got the doors open. It's a little bit before 12, so we're welcoming everybody in. Hopefully everybody got their Jimmy John's. Aaron, thank you very much. So mine was delivered. So this is
it's
good.
kind of sad because I didn't get any Jimmy John's, but all right.
Do they deliver to your house? Do you even know?
Oh, they probably would. We do Grubhub a lot for remote employees. I'm 100% remote, so I go into Denver like 4 times a year. And they do offer it. So it just depends on if I have time to like look it up, or I'm usually too lazy and I'll just uh go downstairs and make something. But
Well, it's cost effective too. So, hey Kim, hey Mari, everybody's kind of saying hello, so we appreciate that. And oh, so Mari said she's in Northern California and she has no access to Jimmy John's. So that's too bad. So let's see. Yeah. Oh, Tony's like they only deliver 5 minutes away, so they got to be within 5 minutes away. And what? Oh, and it's not on Grubhub or Uber, by the way. So yeah. Yeah, their thing is they have to be, if they can't get to you in 5 minutes, like we've literally had somebody who delivers around the corner and they have to go and get their sandwich. It's pretty funny. So Grace from Exit Grace, hello everybody at Exit sitting in the conference room over there. You're welcome for the Jimmy John's. So Tony said she's 7 minutes away and they will not deliver to her house. So that's Jimmy John's. They have a strict 5 minute policy. So that's pretty funny. All right, guys, it is 12 o'clock. We are going to get started. Couple things, just a little bit of housekeeping. Hopefully you guys have all heard by now that IDA's Smart Buy program is run out of funds. So on the tuition forgiveness, they are out of funds. If you are working with any clients, there is a remote possibility that they come back and say, hey, by the way, we happen to have some funds left. You never know. We do remember that happening when they had the program about 3 years ago. So if you're working with clients, what I would do is you're working with anybody who is using IDA or working with your lenders, preferably us, but when in fact that money comes, it will come and go within a week. So just keep that in mind as the next month or two they will have people that made reservations that never take advantage of the money, and IDA will put that money back out there. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. As far as today's speaker, we have Erin Johnson from HomeBot, and we appreciate having her here. I think this is our second year in a row running this with you, Erin, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, second year in a row. So, um, HomeBot is a phenomenal program that we've used for many, many, many years to keep engaged with our clientele. And it is just a great way to let your clients know what their net worth is. And, I always compare it this way. And Aaron, I'm not going to steal your thunder because I know you have a lot to cover. But the banks and people who hold your clients' money are required to give them a statement every 90 days. That's actually a requirement by law. We as realtors, and in this case, lenders, realtors, need to also let our clients know what their largest asset. Many cases, people's equity far outpaces what they have in the bank or 401k or whatever. And this email that they get from HomeBot actually tells them exactly where they stand from an equity position, which we in the lending business and the real estate business can certainly leverage for so many things. So with that, and with the tee up for that, I want to introduce Erin. I want to thank Erin, of course, for the Jimmy Johns, as our sponsor has taken care of that. And I will turn that over to Erin. And oh, for one quick thing on the housekeeping side, Erin has said that for Q&A, which we always encourage, you guys put that in the chat as we go. Erin will stop a couple appropriate times and let me get some questions to her in the chat. Other than that, Erin, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you for having me. And just so all of you know, I am a licensed agent in San Diego, California. I've been in this business for over 20 years, but as of right now, my license is pretty much on referral status. HomeBot is my full-time job. I'm excited to present HomeBot to you from a agent's perspective, what it does for our business. And I know Richard Kimball and his team are really excited to present this information to you as well. It's an amazing tool for lenders, but it is also a really great way for us agents to stay top of mind with everybody in our database, deliver those personal reports, drive more listings back to us. I think that's what everybody wants, is more listings in this current market. And of course, protect your clients from all the competition that's out there, websites, apps, all that type of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And like I said, I will be stopping several times throughout the presentation just to answer any questions that come up during the presentation. But can you just confirm, Richard, that you can see my screen okay?
Everything looks great. HomeBot, build wealth. Let's go.
All right. So I always like to start here because for most of us agents and brokers, we get hit up every day with new technology. It seems I'm like always getting an email or a phone call from somebody promising me that this is the magic bullet for my business. And so we are a bit jaded because how many times have we paid for things that don't work or we don't use them? And the other big question that I think a lot of us agents and brokers think to ourselves is, well, do I already have that? Am I already paying for it? Does my broker provide it? So I want to make sure that we start with what makes HomeBot truly different for your business. HomeBot is a homeownership intent platform. We're not an email drip campaign. We're not going to replace your CRM, and we are not selling you leads. HomeBot, from your client's perspective and any opted-in prospects that you're sending it to, is going to get through their marketing filter with very educational and empowering content that is personal to them. From your client's perspective, HomeBot feels like they're logging into their bank account or their 401k, except for it's all about the largest single asset they own, their home. By the time we retire in the United States, 83% of retirement wealth actually comes out of home equity. So we want to make sure that your clients know how to track and build wealth through home ownership. Now, from our perspective as agents and brokers, HomeBot is really good at telling you which of your clients is most likely going to be selling and buying with you and about when that's going to happen. What this means to you is that you are able to get to those active leads first. There's a ton of competition in real estate, and yet, again, we want to get in front of those top prospects and past clients first. And our platform is really good at identifying those top opportunities so you can focus on getting in front of those clients first instead of chasing a bunch of people down that aren't ready yet. In other words, everybody will get those personalized financial reports from you, but you're going to be able to focus on the top opportunities and start closing more transactions. We're not a startup. We've been around for over 8 years. And over the last 8 years, we now send up to 11 million reports to clients for agents and lenders every single month. Really, what makes us different, though, is the over 75% on average open rate that the email gets And about 35% of your clients will be highly engaged on the platform. What does that mean? It means they're not just clicking on the email from you. They're actually looking at their report sometimes multiple times every month. They're tuning their value, they're viewing listings, and they're reaching out to you with questions. Those are the clients that you want to proactively reach out to. Now, how does that compare to the industry? Well, average open rate to an email in our industry is around 21%. Average highly engaged client by email is around 3.6%. So our metrics will blow away what you're typically going to see through your CRM or other engagement tools. But the good news is you don't need to take my word or Richard's word for it, because HomeBot is month to month, and you're going to be able to track your own activity and engagement for proactive outreach. There are actually three plans for HomeBot. You are not required to work with a lender, but we are going to focus on the agent partner plan today, because not only is it the least expensive way for you to be on HomeBot, it also provides all of the advanced features that you're going to want to start driving more listings to you and to protect your clients from other apps. So that's the program we're going to talk about most today. If you are on HomeBot right now on your own in the starter plan, you can still accept Richard's invitation to co-brand with them. Nothing will happen to your clients, but you will now have access to all the advanced features, and your price will drop to $25 a month. So it's essentially cut in half. The reason the partner plan is less expensive for agents with more features is lenders like Richard are paying a lot more for HomeBot than we do. There's two reasons why. Number one, there is more financing opportunity built into HomeBot than buying and selling. And Richard can actually work with multiple agents on HomeBot, where we as agents can only work with one lender. But if you're concerned about commingling your database with Richard's, don't be. HomeBot is going to come from you every month with all of your personal information on it. The lender only shows up under financing, and they only see the actual client if the client asks you both a financing driven question. Every database is completely separate. Now, if you're not on HomeBot yet with Richard and you do accept his invitation, you can actually try HomeBot for free for your first 25 manually loaded clients. The only way to get that free offer is when you co-brand with the lender and accept their offer to get started. We will also provide a code to waive the $50 setup fee for you that you would normally pay. And remember, the lender only shows up under financing. They only see your client when there's a financing driven question. If you run a team, you can still bring in a co-branded lender for every agent that you add to your team. And Richard can also work with each of those agents to drop each of the additional profiles you add to only $25 a month instead of 50. But the best plan will always be co-branding with the lender. And there's a lot of advantages to that. It's not just the reduction in price, right? It's also increased engagement and being able to protect your clients, because now they'll be able to download and use the HomeBot mobile app through you. This is a great way to protect your clients from other apps like Zillow, Redfin, and realtor.com. And clients love to be able to track and build wealth through home ownership and start shopping for a new home with you right through HomeBot's mobile app. You'll also be able to start converting your homeowners into selling and buying again with you, because once you're co-branded with Richard, you'll actually be able to again, encourage a homeowner to become a buyer with you. And every time that happens in HomeBot, you're going to get notified that your homeowner has started exploring markets, so you can reach out, get them pre-approved with the Kimball team, and of course, set up a listing appointment. You'll also be able to add first-time buyers to HomeBot with only a name and an email. Remember, buyers can't get a home report yet if you don't have an address for them, but they can start with the home buyers report, and I'll show you what that looks like. HomeBot will also be able to start delivering market updates, listing alerts if your clients are favoriting properties or saving searches. And you'll be able to embed your personal advice into the monthly reports using videos from you. And this will also increase your engagement. Best of all, in my opinion, you don't have to answer those financing driven questions from your clients because Richard and his team can reach out and answer them for you. Remember, that's when he'll see the client and you will be able to see the question they're asking as well. Now, if you're on HomeBot on your own without a lender, again, you will pay $50 a month plus a $50 setup fee to get started. And you are limited to just the emailed home report. Again, no video, no ability for homeowners to become buyers, no access to HomeBot's mobile app, and no ability to add first time buyers either. But if you are on HomeBot on your own, like I said, nothing will happen to your clients once you accept Richard's invitation. Your price will cut in half and you'll get all those advanced features on HomeBot. Again, once you're on that partner plan with Richard, the first thing you're going to see is that now your clients are going to be prompted in two places to download and use our mobile app. And we get a lot of downloads to our mobile app. You'll be able to see every time a client downloads it with you. This is a great way to protect them, not just by email, but also by app. You'll also be able to drop in personal videos into the report so that you can talk to your clients about why you set them up with this free financial tool and to reach out to you with any questions. And then, of course, at the top, these buttons will appear for your clients. Homeowners can become buyers. You'll also be able to add first time buyers. So I'll show you what that looks like. They'll be able to go into a heat map of market conditions tied to your IDX listing search. And they'll also be able to use HomeBot's nationwide property listing search. This means they can look for a home anywhere in the United States with you. So if you have clients that are relocating to other states or want to buy an investment property or a vacation home in another state, this will keep them off of Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com. And you can simply set it up as a referral to a buyer's agent in the other state. I do love being able to add first time buyers as well. I do love having extra landing pages and widgets to capture new clients. And remember, the price is going to drop to only $25 a month once you're co branded with your lender. The best way to use these features is to start converting homeowners in your database into selling and buying again with you. And if you're worried about co-branding with Richard, don't be. Remember, the reports will still come from you every single month, where Richard will appear as under financing options, just like my lender does. And I'll show you what it looks like in just a moment. The only time the lender sees the client is when the client clicks on a financing bubble and asks you both a question. Other place the lender will appear is under getting pre-approved. Again, you'll see the lender's information there, so you both get that pre-approval request. And if they click on affordability for a listing that they're looking at, that is when the lender's information again will appear. In my opinion, having a mobile app for your clients, in addition to getting HomeBot by email, is the best way to protect them from all those other apps out there like Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com. And we get a ton of downloads to the app because every time your client opens their report by email, we're going to prompt them to download and use the app with you as well. These statistics speak for themselves. Our clients love using apps on their phone to track and build wealth through home ownership and start shopping for a new home with you. Both by app and by email, right at the top of every home they own, we will start by providing a value of the property. Remember, you can set value in HomeBot. You can edit value to replace the AVM anytime in HomeBot, and so can your client. But we're a whole lot more than an AVM. Remember, there are thousands of sites out there that will offer your clients a how much your home is worth AVM. We dig into what's much more important to them, which includes equity, principal and interest paid, making extra principal payments, market conditions, and everything that's important to them, which includes appreciation, net proceeds if they were to sell, because we'll pull in their mortgage information for you, and what's going on in their local market. Every month they get an updated report and access to that app once you are co-branded with Richard. And then, of course, at the bottom, we will encourage every homeowner in app and by email to immediately start thinking about buying a new home for you. Once they click on buy or search, you're going to get notified that they're exploring markets, and that will actually create the buyer side of HomeBot. It also allows you to add first-time buyers directly into the buyer side of HomeBot by app and email for those first-time buyers or prospects that come in without a property address. But what does HomeBot do for buyers? Well, number one, we keep them off of other apps where they're going to be packaged up and sold as a lead, like Zillow. We help them come up with purchasing power. We provide smart budgeting insights. And we do provide that nationwide property listing search that will be linked back to your local IDX listing search to protect your buyers. HomeBot didn't buy a nationwide MLS driven search to compete with you. Every listing they look at will have your contact information on it. And again, if you're not licensed in that state or area they're looking, simply set it up as a referral. You'll be able to see every listing they're looking at. I also love dropping personal videos into HomeBot. It will absolutely increase your engagement, and I'll show you a few of mine. But if you're worried about using video, don't be. Again, you don't need special equipment. You can use your cell phone camera and upload it into YouTube for free, and then they're going to live inside HomeBot. We have a live workshop you can take. We have scripting and top producing examples. So drop in a welcome video to every client that gets their first report from you and explains why you've set them up with this free financial tool. There's also 15 other places in HomeBot you can drop in a personal video, depending on what your client is clicking on. I also love video email. This is a video that goes out to every homeowner or buyer into your database with an updated report. So when they're about to get an updated report from you anyway, why not drop in that once a month timely video that wishes them happy holidays, talk about rates and market conditions, and don't forget to mention your new listing in case they know anybody that wants it, right? Within that mobile app, we dive deep into everything that's important to your client, whether they're owning a home or looking to buy a home with you. And every client will be protected, and you're going to be able to see exactly what they're doing inside HomeBot. You can always tie your own website IDX listing search to HomeBot, both in the heat map of market conditions and at the top of HomeBot's nationwide listing search. But most of us agents have a local IDX. So we also provide HomeBot's nationwide MLS listing search that allows you to show your client properties for sale that, again, compare to where they live right now, sold properties that recently sold in the same zip code. And if a homeowner wants to take their equity and start shopping for a new property, they can click right here and immediately look at listings with you. The other thing I love about HomeBot's nationwide listing search is it actually includes assumable mortgages and seller concessions. Now, we know that assumable mortgages can be difficult and they are going to have to put a lot more money down. But it's a great way to get your seller off of the fence because they often have a lot of equity. And even that that's not the right home for them, I can't think of a better way to build a relationship with a potential new seller and buyer with you. There are ways to market to strangers with HomeBot. You can farm with us. You can door knock. You can use HomeBot at open houses. There's a ton of ways that you can use all three of these landing pages that you get once you are co-branded with Richard's team. There's one for homeowners, great for farming, one for buyers to use at open houses, and one for that nationwide listing search that will be tied back to your search and is a part of our mobile app. But before you start marketing to strangers, please, please, please start with your past clients first. Load in your sphere and any opted in prospects you're already working with. Why? It's not that marketing to strangers doesn't work, but they typically will take more time and money to convert. Here's a couple of examples that are on my website. And again, I believe Tony is going to post that website link in the chat so you can all capture it, scroll to the bottom of the website and look at these templates. There also can be easily found in your account under the Help tab. You can use QR coded farming postcards. You can place widgets on your website, pre-built social media posts, and we even provide door hanger templates that you can use for walking a farm or circle prospecting around your new listing. There's a ton of ways to optimize HomeBot. So if you already use HomeBot and you're curious about the best ways to leverage this tool, I often talk to agents that tell me, yeah, I'm sending out HomeBot, but I feel like I'm missing something. I get great responses from my clients, but I want to do more. Number one way to optimize HomeBot is to pay attention to your client's activity in HomeBot, their likely to sell scores, and then proactively reach out to them by text, call, email, or pop by their home. I had a agent up in Los Angeles with Remax who lost a listing because he didn't pay attention to a client CMA request in HomeBot. We sent him the email. It was part of his client engagement portal, but he ignored it. So be proactive with your clients and pay attention to any requests that come in. Second recommendation is to load more clients. I cannot tell you how many agents I coach who have less than 100 clients on HomeBot. Load every past client you close a transaction with. Load your own sphere of influence, which is usually around 100 people you know on a first name basis, but they've never done a real estate transaction with you. Remember, HomeBot's not a sales pitch, it's educational. They're going to love getting HomeBot from you, and load any opted in prospects you're working with. If you're working on building a database or you do farm, door knock, run open houses, even if they're from other agents, make sure that you're using those automated share landing pages. Keep them on your phone. You can download them to your home and save them to your home screen and text them to people or add new clients on your own. I also recommend annual homeowner reviews using all of their activity and equity position, and again, how much the home has increased in value when you're doing annual homeowner reviews. One of the best times to do an annual homeowner review is in the spring before taxes are due. So here's a great time to make that offer to every client in your database. Now, the last two recommendations you see here do require Richard being that co-branded lender, and that's using video, which is a great way to increase attention and explain options to your clients, and also using HomeBot's nationwide property listing search, where every listing they look at will be protected with you, and it does include those assumable mortgages and seller concessions. Keep in mind, about 22% of all listings in the United States do have an assumable mortgage. The
Hey,
back
Erin,
end of, yes, go ahead.
we do have a question. I know you had mentioned that you were going to find a break point somewhere in there for questions, but you mentioned videos and the question relates to videos, so I wanted to jump in. Hope that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, Joe, who I know is a HomeBot user, had asked if the video platform is within HomeBot, or do they have to use like BombBomb or Vidyard or YouTube or something like that to create those videos?
So we do work with Vimeo. We do work with BombBomb. If you have an account with one of those services, that's a great way to upload the videos into HomeBot. Another way that agents typically do it is record them on their phone. They upload them into a public YouTube channel, and then they live inside HomeBot. It's not going to redirect them out to YouTube. that's probably the lowest cost way to do it. We don't have a video platform built in for you to use. You will create that video in one of those outward sources and then drop it into HomeBot.
Cool. Quick reminder to everybody, make sure you put your questions in there. Joe, thanks for the question. And I think we're caught up on questions. Erin, go right ahead.
Perfect. So what I'm showing you here in this slide, and I'm going to show it to you live in just a few minutes as well, is the back end of HomeBot where you'll manage your account. We call it the client engagement platform. And this is where you can really pay attention to what your clients are doing. We're going to tell you who's highly engaged. You can click on any name in blue to view their report, edit any information, add additional properties. In addition to emailing you client questions, you're going to be able to see the most current questions that have come in. You're going to be able to see likely to sell scores for your clients. So again, watching that activity, paying attention to those likely to sell scores, paying attention to questions is very, very important. We've been doing this for 9 years, and we know that highly active clients in HomeBot are 4 times more likely to sell and buy with you again, as long as you remember to pay attention and proactively reach out. So I'm going to show you what this looks like live in an actual report and the back end of HomeBot and how you'll get support and training for your account. But remember, once this webinar is over, the next thing you'll do is watch for the email from Richard's team and sign up. It's free for your first 25 manually loaded clients. I recommend you make yourself your first client on HomeBot. You've got nothing to lose because what's free in real estate? But once you do decide to pay for HomeBot because you want to bulk upload your entire database out of your CRM, we do integrate with Follow Up Boss and Follow Up Boss and Zapier. Go ahead and use this code Erin50 to waive that $50 setup fee. And then, of course, once you like HomeBot, I do recommend you load up your entire pipeline. Then it's only going to be $25 a month up to 500 clients. Every additional block of 500 clients will be $10 per block. Back to the pricing. Again, if you are a single agent, this is your best way to do HomeBot is with that co-branded lender that only shows up under financing and only sees your client when they have a financing driven question. If you run a team, it is also possible for every agent on your team to be able to send out HomeBot to that team member. And of course, every agent that co-brands with Richard will also be reduced to $25 a month. This QR code, we do a ton of training on QR codes, will actually take you to my website, where again, all of those templates for farming and door hangers are at the bottom, and additional training links and live classes that you can take. Tony, I believe you're actually going to post that in the chat. So anybody that wants to copy and paste it out of the chat can also bookmark it on their computer. I'm going to pause here to see if there's any additional questions before I show you what the reports look like.
I think you covered this. So I have a question and kind of a comment. I think you covered this though. For additional training, I believe Angela had asked. She said, "Hey, I'm not going to remember all this. When she logs in, there's a place for her to go see training on certain subjects, correct?"
Absolutely. This is the back end of HomeBot. And once they actually accept your invitation and create their account, I recommend that they go to their account tab right here, set a password, and then book the site. That way, it's always available for you on your computer. It's already bookmarked. It's easy to log into. You can also save it to your home screen on your phone, just simply by logging in on your cell phone and saving it to your home screen. It's easy to get help. The easiest way is this pink intercom button right here. And this is where you can literally search for anything. So if I'm looking for a door hanger template, I just type it in and I see everything. If I want to look for scripts for videos, I can simply type in scripts, and there's tons of scripts. Hit video and you'll get even more. You can also ask us questions here. So if you click right here and go down here, you can send us a message and our tech support team will reach out to you to help you as well. So that's one way to get support in HomeBot. You'll also be able to scroll down to the bottom and go to our help center here, sign up for any of our live workshops, and then you can also just click on help right here to do the same thing. We have tons of live classes that you can take. So here's lots of different live classes that you can attend and ask questions. There's also built into this resource tab, if I go back to it right here, again, lots of other resources, and you can search for help articles. And at the bottom, you will see our phone number and our email, in addition to using that intercom button. We are not going to be that tool that you cannot figure out how to use. Now, before I dig in more to the client engagement portal, I do just want to show you what a
Wait,
co-branded report looks like.
Aaron, I do have a couple other questions that popped up.
Yep.
Yeah, so and thank you. So Angela, I think now she needs a video how to find the video, but she's good. She'll figure it out. You guys have a lot of resources, which is amazing. So Grace had asked, actually, and this is kind of a follow-up question, I think, from Grace or Grace's team, and I think it's a great question. I'm going to let you answer the first part of it, and then I want to answer the second part of it. But her first question is, where are you guys getting your comparables when you're assessing the value to one of the people's homes?
Yeah, that's a great question. Comes up all the time with agents. I would ask the same question. Again, we have an aggregate of several resources we use, including CoreLogic. CoreLogic is very trusted in the real estate industry. But the reality is, no AVM is perfect. They're computer algorithms based on different sets of data. And that's why if you are a client, just go into the Google search by a property address, you're going to see a wide variance of what they think that home is worth based on what their data is showing them. Remember, one low ball or high sale can really skew an AVM. And typically, the more expensive the homes are, the more you're going to see a big variance. I'll just tell you where I live in a tract home in San Diego. Zillow's AVM on my house is $100,000 less than it should be. So while we can provide an AVM for any client, I do recommend that you set value in HomeBot and keep in mind if Richard's team closed the transaction, we don't have to use the AVM. We can provide the sale price or the sale appraisal price to start with. Each month, instead of using that AVM, the property will increase based on that appraised value or sale price, which you can add as an agent. Richard's team, if they're the co-branded lender, can add it as well. And remember, the real beauty of HomeBot is that it's a whole lot more than an AVM. It is a very personalized report with principal and interest, equity, recent sold, videos, the ability to do a rate and term refi, buy a home with you again, and then you got cash out refis and short-term rental information. So we're not just an AVM, but I know it is a question that comes up all the time. I can't promise you every client you enter, you will be satisfied with what the AVM looks like.
So
That's why I'll
Aaron,
show you how to edit it.
Aaron, and I want to comment too, because if I've ever gotten a complaint, probably the most common complaint that I get is they'll get entered into the system and they'll instantly they'll call me back and they'll be like, well, my value's way off. Well, and you kind of addressed why the value might be off, but there is a way to go into, so for your client, you can go in and make that adjustment because again, an AVM is only going to know so much. The nice thing about it is when you make that adjustment, now they're telling you what's going on in your neighborhood from appreciation on your adjusted price. So you will
Yeah.
begin to see things that are more consistent to the neighborhood. Now, we had a client whose neighborhood literally went from 650 to 750. Crazy market last year, limited deals. That client was able to go in and say, "Oh my gosh, there's now a comp at 650 because we hadn't had a sale in over a year." They went in and plugged it in, and now HomeBot is assessing appreciation from 750, not 650. So if you get any kind of odd thing like that, your client can go in and make that adjustment. Excuse me. All right, and then I think that Ron had asked. So Ron's an agent who's tied to another cross-country loan officer, and they're tied together. Ron had made a comment about how to I guess the other loan officer's address is incorrect, but I think the other loan officer has to go in and fix it on their side. Something about that. So that would, Ron, to answer your question, Chris would have to go in and change that on her side. So she may not see that the wrong address is coming up. So, and I'll mention it to her as well. Oh, Angela loved your explanation, Erin, on how to find the training. So she said, thank you very much. And let's see here. Da, 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 da. Oh, so Joe, who's active with HomeBot with us, Aaron, wanted to know if there was a way to. He's got clients that he wants to remove. Sounds like they're more leads than anything else. Is there a way to remove a chunk of leads at a time, or does he have to go in and manually delete those?
You can delete it one at a time, or you can just send a message. Again, I'll go back to the CEP, your client engagement portal. You can send us a message and tell us who you want to delete in bulk. Sometimes it's a bunch of buyer leads or pre-approvals. Sometimes it's people that just aren't opening HomeBot or have unsubscribed. That's what this button is great for. Obviously, you can also email us or call us to do the same if you want to do a bulk delete. You used to be able to check off a bunch of clients all at once and delete them. I think they're going to bring that feature back. But as of right now, you can delete one at a time, or you can request a bulk delete of whatever clients you want.
So he could send an Excel CSV to delete.
Yep. Or he could just say, like, hey, I want anybody who hasn't been opening HomeBot in the last 6 months or is under a certain likely to sell score or they've unsubscribed, anything like that. And you can do
Okay,
that right here through the intercom button or through those other help resources under the help right here.
perfect. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that. I think we are all caught up on the questions. I'll let you continue.
Perfect. So again, this is what a report looks when you're co-branded with a lender. Number one, you'll see that my clients are going to be prompted to download and use that mobile app, and I'll be able to track every time they do that. My clients also are able to see sold properties in the area as well as current listings, and I have embedded videos inside my reports in every single section. Remember, we're a whole lot more than an AVM, and your client can manage multiple properties. So you can add additional properties for them so that they can toggle between them, and they can add additional properties over here that maybe you didn't even know about. Even though you're co-branded with your lenders, HomeBot still comes from you. Every month they will get that updated value from you. And remember, you can set value, you can edit value anytime you want, and best of all, so can your client. Again, Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com don't let them do that. And I don't know about you, I never see them go down in value ever. Never happens. They always think their house is worth more, right? But remember, they're doing this with you. And so we'll confirm the size in case they've added on to the property. We let the client tell you about every single improvement they've made. That actually increases value within the range. And that's when you're going to get that notification that they think their home is worth more. This is when you pick up the phone and reach out. Congratulate them on the kitchen remodel. Ask them if they want you to confirm that value through a CMA, and then talk about all the equity that they're sitting on. Huge opportunity there. And we do everything possible in HomeBot to talk about why AVMs can be so wildly off. Another great opportunity, because you are co-branded with the Richard Kimball team, is to actually drop in a welcome video that talks about AVMs. And if it's off, to reach out to you or tune their own value so that you can edit it. Remember, we're more than that. We track value since they purchased the home. We talk about market conditions right here, where they can actually view listings from you and see and immediately start shopping for a new home. We actually have that equity position in the home where we take in their mortgage information. And this can either come from Richard's team, or we'll pull it in from public data, and any of it can be edited by your client to update their report. We've got recent solds in the area based on their zip code. We've got embedded videos in HomeBot. principal and interest, ability to make extra principal payments, which clients love. And then, of course, you've got your rate and term refis. This is one place that Richard will appear is under financing. But remember, he still won't see the client until the client asks you both a financing driven question. In that case, it'll go back to both of you. My favorite section is the purchase section. Again, this is encouraging an existing homeowner to take that equity and buy another home with you. They can click on any of these options, and because you have a co-branded lender, turn into a buyer with you. You'll get notified. There is a cash out refi section that can also go back to your lender, but it also creates more referrals for you because most of us agents do have other partners in the business, like financial planners, insurance agents, contractors. And then at the bottom, we'll provide short-term rental information within a 1 mile radius. Of course, like everything in the HomeBot, it's really dynamic. And there's a disclaimer, not all neighborhoods allow short-term rentals. Again, a lot of times this can turn into a conversation about long-term rentals. And then at the very bottom, we encourage them to share HomeBot with other people. They love HomeBot because it's not a sales pitch or cleaning out their gutters. It's about them. Every person they send an invitation to that accepts it is becoming a new client for you. Run a referral reward contest. Put them in a drawing for every person they refer you to. And then remember, they can unsubscribe anytime they want from HomeBot, but they don't. We send 11 million reports every month, and we have a less than 1% unsubscribe rate. Because you're co-branded with the Kimball team, they can come right here and become a buyer. And that's actually going to create the buyer site of HomeBot and allow you to add first-time buyers directly here by app and email if you don't have a property address from them or they don't own a home yet. Remember, for every buyer that's converted from a homeowner and you get notified they're exploring markets, for every first-time buyer you send directly here, the first thing we do is actually help them come up with a budget. Reach out to you and your lender to get pre-approved. They can favorite any market they might be looking at in the United States. So you can set them up with specific markets and zip codes, and they can actually favorite zip codes and markets as well that you can see. They can go under that heat map of market conditions and look for a home anywhere. Now, I already shared with you I live in San Diego, so this is set to where I live. Remember, they can put any city or state up here. This heat map of market conditions is actually showing your buyer where, when, and how to buy. There is a ton of buyer's remorse out there. So this really is showing them the market conditions where they're looking for a home, and we're rating every market based on a $920,000 purchase price. They can see where the more competitive markets are. They can see where they can get more square footage based on that price, where the cheapest buys are, and lastly, how fast could they potentially move in? That's search time to the close of escrow. Once they pick a market, they can favorite it. You can see any market they favorite or favorite markets for them. They can click right here and look at listings on your local IDX listing search. So this is my outward link to my search that I set up buyers with. But if it's not in my immediate area, they can also click up here and go directly into HomeBot's nationwide listing search. So maybe they're looking in a different area, like I'm thinking about buying an investment property in another state. Remember, my search is still on top, but my search isn't going to show them property in another state. And then what I do love about it is it shows them how when the listing was on, any open houses that are coming up for that property, and if there's any assumable mortgages or seller concessions, it's going to list those as well. Every listing is actually going to position you as the person they should reach out to. So if the home's not where you're located, you can always set it up as a referral as well. Remember, most of your clients will start out as homeowners. You'll add them with a name, a property address, and an email. Set value or let your client tune value with you and use a video to explain how they can do that. Homeowners will become buyers. You'll be able to add first-time buyers directly to the buyer side. They can go into a heat map of market conditions anywhere they want to go, tied to your listing feed, and they can use HomeBot's nationwide listing search as well. This is what your clients are going to receive from you. Any questions about what the reports look like to a client?
Yeah, I do have questions that are in the feed, and then I have one question. So I do, Kelly asked, do you manually set up the IDX search?
So you actually set it up through your client engagement portal. So you do it right here under your account. You can also just go to the bottom here to power ups to do it. And then you'll see mine's already been set up. So my home search is set up right here under custom listings. And again, if there's no zip code built into your search, we can still set it up as an outward link. It'll still be on the top of HomeBot search, but you're going to do that in your power ups or under your account tab, which is also where your power ups are.
Okay, so you could
And
set
if
that
you
up
need,
in there.
yeah, and if you need help, use that pink intercom button or send us an email.
Perfect. Erin, the next question I have, you had on your dashboard or one of the dashboards, you had 17 clients that were most likely to sell. I want to kind of talk about that from a standpoint of, you know, how, if agents are always looking for great ways to engage or how do we target our database and the you guys have set some sort of predictability regarding these 17 buyers. What leads you to believe that these 17 folks might sell? And I mean, can you speak a little bit to that, maybe show them
Yeah.
what it looks like on their back end of theirs?
Yeah, so basically, we score every homeowner you add to HomeBot 0 to 100. And I actually have 90 clients right now that are likely to sell. That means their score is over 59. So 59 to 69 is likely to sell. Anything over 70 is highly likely to sell. And that score is based on two things: public data, and this is where you'll see Zillow and realtor.com come up with a likely to sell score. Public data includes the things like their rate, how long they've been in the home, their market, and how often it moves, and how much equity they have. So that's kind of, public information we all have access to. HomeBot score is also based on what they're doing in HomeBot. Are they tuning value and reaching out to you with questions? How often do they log in? Are they viewing listings? Are they looking at their home's market or starting to shop for a new property? And so, what I recommend you do is pay attention to these scores. Click on any client's name in blue, and you'll be able to look at their basic information here, preview any report that they're getting from you right here. You can edit that information. You can view all of that client's activity since they started on HomeBot, what exactly they've been doing. Click on any property. Again, if you want to edit value, you can create a new value here. You must create a new range so the client can continue to tune value with you. And once you hit save, they'll get an updated report. And then if there's anything else you want to edit within that profile, you can do it right here. You can also add additional properties for your client, but remember, your client can do that too. You can make a homeowner a buyer right here, but remember, your clients can become buyers with you as well. So it's really easy to edit all that information inside HomeBot. Again, your timely opportunities, that's where you're going to see those likely to sell scores. And we do believe that ours are much more accurate because it isn't just based on that public information.
Okay, yeah, and Joe just asked about, can you hold on 1 second. What do the analytics base the move score on? But I think you literally just addressed that as far
Yeah.
as, activity within there, the amount of equity, time at the home, that type of thing.
Well,
Darren
that's what they're
asked,
doing in HomeBot. Yeah.
correct. Darren asked, can you use the app with renters that are not looking to buy yet? I know you kind of touched on that, but there is a place to load renters in here, correct?
You can add buyers, but we're going to assume they're looking for a home. They can't get a home report if they're renting the property. And we don't do apartments, obviously. It's only single family and condos that are owned. So yeah, you could add somebody who is a buyer. You would just go to add clients and then add them as a buyer in bulk or one at a time and make them a buyer in HomeBot. But essentially, we're going to assume both by app and email that they are thinking about buying in the future. We're going to take them through affordability and even credit score tracking if they want. But it is possible to nurture a buyer for years that isn't quite ready yet, and they can still use the app. They can still see listings in the area and do all those things to protect them until they're ready.
Perfect. And by the way, that was Dorina. By the way, it just abbreviated it, so I never saw the whole name. So sorry, Dorina. So she was the one that had the question, but I think that answered the question. So you can put future buyers in here for sure, and
Yep.
that's awesome. You know, it's a great tool to interact with your database. It's a great tool to give you guys. You know, there's a report we get every Monday that kind of gives us the list of activity for the previous week. We'll take that report and then on a Thursday we'll kind of follow up on people with newer activity and just make sure that, you know, do they need anything? Do they need a CMA? Do they need something from us? Do they need to get pre-approved? It gives us a reason to engage with them. You know, usually start that conversation out like, hey, I see you enjoy our HomeBot tool, and then let them answer. And it's like, well, we see that you're doing this. Is there anything that we can help you out with and get you more information that you may not get through the app?
It doesn't have to be creepy, you know. You can look at this information. It does come in on a leaderboard email every Monday. It's also going to be right in here who's highly engaged, the messages that they're asking, that type of thing. And so when you do that reach out, you know, we all have different clients that like to be contacted in different ways. So, you know, for one client, it might be a quick text. Hey, what do you think about HomeBot? Looks like you created a lot of equity. There's some great recent solds in your area. Not sure if you had any questions. It's going to really depend on the client and how you want to reach out, but it doesn't have to be creepy. Like, I watched you click on a listing. You want to make it kind of, what you think your client might want and get some feedback from them. And sometimes they click on something and don't even know they clicked on it. So, more of a general message after you preview the report is usually the best way to go about it.
No, it's perfect. Um, we are getting close to our time. So, Erin, first of all, any other key points you want to mention before I wrap this up?
I would just say that keep in mind once you have accepted the invitation, you are going to see Richard Kimball's information right here. Any client in both of your databases is going to get a co-branded report with the agent on top and Richard under financing. So you don't have to worry about any client that you share getting two separate reports from you as long as you both have the client in your database. Lastly, here's your videos. And again, take that live training class. It's a great class to take. But you'll see my entire video library here. Start at the top with the welcome videos. Those are the most important part. And then video email is that one video going out one time. You can also drop that in right here. Here's all the platforms that we work on. I think most agents use YouTube and a public channel because it's free, but we got lots of training on doing that too. And then lastly, your share tab is where all your landing pages will appear. Once you're with Richard's team, you're going to have all three of these, tons of ways that you can use them. Post them on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, use QR coded postcards for farming. You will have mobile app resources to invite your clients into your mobile app. If a client ever asks you for your code when they're downloading the app from their app store, this is where you'll find your code. We want to make sure they're downloading the app from you. And then here's where you have your widgets that you can place on your website to capture leads as well. Remember, every lead that comes in, you'll get notified you've got a new client on HomeBot, and they can drop in as a homeowner or as a buyer with you. So lots of information. I get it. Remember, you've got the pink intercom button here. You've got the help tab, weekly training classes, including on video. Great ways to reach out to support here at the bottom as well. The baby step is just getting started. Accept the invitation, make yourself your first client, because the best way to understand HomeBot is to get home and then bulk upload everybody into HomeBot and start looking at those best practices to optimize your account.
Aaron, I got a question that came in. One of our agents who's using HomeBot said she tried to change her email address from a domain name to Gmail and she got an error code. What would that be about?
I don't know, but you could certainly go here and have support do it for you. Just go down here and send them a message and tell them you got an error. There are certain things you can change in your account profile, and that's the information you see here. The email shouldn't be a problem, but sometimes it's broker information or something else and you get an error, or sometimes it's your office information that you can't change. And again, that's where you can email us or you can just use the pink intercom button to make a request.
Okay, so you guys might have to change it on the back end for her. So
Technically, she should be able to send her email to anything she wants, but because she's getting an error message, that's a perfect reason to reach out to support. They'll do it for her.
okay. Perfect, perfect. All right. Well, we've got again, Erin, thank you very much. We've got a couple upcoming classes. Okay, perfect, Catherine. I see that. Our next Lunch and Learn is going to be March 19th. That is going to be on credit. We're going to have Jim Drusky from Illinois Credit Services on to give us the latest news relative to what's going on with credit bureaus, and an update there. Jim's been a active credit repair partner of ours for a long time. So I would have to say probably 17 years since his business has been open. We've been sending him business. I like having a credit repair partner that's local here, somebody that can be seen and met with in person if necessary. That's going to be March 19th at 12 o'clock. And then we also have our Southside After Hours event, and that's coming up March 25th. So if you're interested in that after hours event, that's at a fun little place called Hawaii Fluid Art, and that's going to be an in-person event. So thank you again, Erin. Tony will also be sending out an invite to everybody on the HomeBot with Erin's code or discount code relative to the sign up. Again, you want to take it out for a drive, put 25 clients in it, put yourself in it for sure. Take it out for a drive, use it for free. If you like it, it's a pretty cheap way to generate business. And so, really cheap way. So, thank you guys all for coming
Yeah.
out. And again, if you know of anybody who's looking for a mortgage, wants to get pre approved, let them know that the Kimball team's here to take care of them. Erin, thank you. Take care,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a great one. Bye.